touchdown. Trace Smith the rebound at the buzzer, got it! Johnson wins the 60 meters. Drive to deep center field. The Spartans are Mountain West champs. For Omari Moore of the Spartan men's basketball team, getting overlooked is nothing new, but it hasn't stopped him or the team from reaching new heights this season. The senior from Pasadena, California, was offered only one scholarship to play college basketball, here at San Jose State. He's made the most of it, helping turn a struggling program into a Mountain West contender, while turning himself into an NBA draft prospect.
Last year we did not have a good season at all, so some of the accolades come with winning, and we're able to see results of that this year. All that work that we were putting in from last summer into the fall, into the winter, it kind of all came together at the right time, and we had some good pieces and we were able to win some games.
Omari, how does he slip through the cracks? That's a great question. Part of it is I think he was a little unassuming coming in. I remember one of the things we did this summer with him is I said, we're going to play 3-on-3. And Omari, you have to either score or have an assist on every play. Well, the idea of that is to try and get him to take over mentally, take over.
Coach Miles would always tell me last year, if you're not aggressive, we can't win. We need you to be able to score for us.
I said, dude, if it ain't you, it's not going to happen for us.
It did happen for the Spartan men, as they improved from an 8-win season last year to a 21-win season this year.
I think after we won the game at Colorado State and beating UNLV, who was 18-1 at the time, that's when we were okay, we can really do this, we can compete with anybody.
Those wins were huge. They were huge for San Jose because they're some of the biggest wins that we've had in program history.
Perhaps the most memorable win came in the regular season finale.
Yeah, we're at altitude, the last game of the year, Air Force Academy, who's really a tough team.
Jackson slamming it down.
And we're dead in the water, down 20 points in the second half. Old Coach Miles has run out of good ideas. And that's the time Omari just took over.
I really did not want to lose to Air Force. We were over there, I couldn't see us losing to Air Force. And we got down 20, but everybody still believed that we could win.
4 from 3, got it. Wow. I mean, this guy is silk.
Team is we're just watching in awe, he's just taking over the game. And not just offensively, but defensively too.
The biggest play was the final play of the game, when Omari silenced the Air Force Academy crowd.
There it is, Carter Murphy with the basketball. 3, 2, go to the distance. Oh, it's going to be blocked. It's going to be blocked. Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable take.
And guess who it was?
Murphy.
Omari Moore with the block. San Jose State comes back from 20 down on the strength of Omari Moore.
That dramatic come-from-behind victory, punctuated by Omari's last-second block, was just what the team needed heading into the Mountain West tournament, where they won their first ever game in Mountain West tournament play against a tough Nevada squad.
The guys were tough-minded, excellent defensively. We were one of the top rebounding teams in the country all season long. We continued that, and we really beat Nevada where they had beaten us. We beat them in the paint and on the glass. And to be able to do that to a team as good as Nevada was really important for us. It's a great, great win for our program.
Though the team fell short of the Mountain West title, Omari's accomplishments did not go unnoticed, as he was named Mountain West Player of the Year, the first in school history.
Well, to win the Player of the Year in the Mountain West Conference is spectacular. That put himself in a whole new category of excellence. He's deserving of the Mountain West Player of the Year. You could see it. It was almost unanimous in the media, and then certainly I'm sure the coaches voted the same way.
It's a blessing, to be completely honest with you. It's not something that I take for granted. But not to just kind of not give myself credit, but a lot of it has to go to my teammates and my coaches. They put me in a lot of positions to be successful, and it really showed for us, and I'm just really grateful for it.
Overlooked no longer, Omari has recently declared for the NBA draft and hopes to live out his dream of playing professional basketball.
Everything's about to start moving really fast. I got to go out to Chicago for the NBA Combine, and then after the NBA Combine, it's really on. It's every other day I'm flying to different cities, trying to get workouts with these different teams. So it's really exciting, but a little nerve-wracking as well.
He's just a very hardworking person, and it still kind of surprises me that people don't talk about him as much as they should. He won Mountain West Player of the Year, but he still doesn't really get recognition too much for it. His story has always been being the underdog, being under-recruited. He only had one scholarship offer. So I think he kind of likes being the underdog. It fits his story. So he'll surprise a lot of people.
In the melting pot that is San Jose, you'll meet people from all over the world. Software designers from Bangladesh, venture capitalists from Japan, and track stars from Sweden? While not the first place that comes to mind when you think of track and field, SJSU's Amelia Hostron has brought her jumping ability from Stockholm to the Silicon Valley. It's a move that is paying off for both Amelia and the Spartans.
I did track from when I was 6 years old, so I've done that a long time. And I also did soccer for about 6 years, floorball, I can try a lot of things, basketball. My parents made sure that I tried all the different sports to find what I like. When the topic of college kind of started, my dad and my mom really said, like, you should really try it. Like, you have a talent, and you can just go for a year and you see how it feels, and let's just try it out. And not only to do track, but also to move across the world and trying to like experience stuff by yourself. So when I started looking for what college I wanted, I had no clue. Like, I had no clue about college in the US. So I kind of more went off location, I'm not gonna lie. So I was thinking that it was really nice to be in California and the nice weather. And then also I heard about the history of the San Jose track team, which was also very appealing for me to why to go here.
Emilia arrived at a crucial time of change for the San Jose State track program. In August of 2021, Charles Ryan was hired as director of track and field and cross country. His task was to rebuild a storied program after COVID-19 brought a halt to college athletics.
Well, one of the first things you do when you're taking over a new program is you got to evaluate the roster that is there on paper. This name is listed, and there's no record of her ever competing, and there's no record of her taking classes, and she's not in the pool with the rest of the quote-unquote incoming freshmen. So I'm like, who is this child, and what is going on here? It turns out that she was ultimately recruited through a third-party recruiting service kind of situation, which is not uncommon for European athletes or foreign athletes in general. And so I reached out to the service and reached out to her and just kind of got a background of how her name landed on my desk. So what I told her was, like, let's show up in January and be ready to compete. I told her to come in motivated and ready to get into competition straight away, and she did, and it's been fantastic ever since.
I missed the whole pre-season workouts. So indoor season was okay. I think I finished 6th at the conference championship indoor. And then we went outdoor, and then I felt like things started to happen. So I started to PR after like every competition. And then there was one competition in Fresno when I managed to jump 13.19. So I was a school record and a personal record, and the first time over 13, and everything kind of felt really nice. Like, oh, this is how it's supposed to feel, and I got a taste of a really good result.
That taste of success has Emilia striving to be the best jumper in the Mountain West.
She was like, well, I can be really good at this. And for the time that we worked with her, she improved by a full meter over the course of 4 months. To then compete with the best of the best, that changes you because it changes your expectations. And for her, she's a very competitive person. She'll look at other people and be like, well, if they can do that, I can do that.
For her to show up mid-year January and qualify herself for the NCAA Outdoor Championships was a feat in itself. When she qualified for indoor nationals, which, make no mistake, is the hardest track and field competition on the planet to qualify for. And she went in there with no fear, expecting to do well. And what I told her was simple: be who you were to get here and you'll be an All-American. Not only did she do that, she jumped significantly further.
I finished first team All-American in the triple, and then school record, a personal record, and then the second best jump indoors in Swedish history. So it was a lot of things happening at the same time. For every competition, I managed to jump longer and longer. So I haven't been able to settle everything that's been happening, but it's been a very cool indoor season and definitely the best indoor season that I've ever had.
Emilia's progress at San Jose State has resulted in record-setting performances, but her career in track and field is still in its early stages. She has a real chance of being the best triple jumper her country has ever seen.
I think her ceiling is probably much higher than she realizes. She came to San Jose State University as a 40-foot triple jumper, and so far she's jumped 45-10. To make those gains in less than 2 calendar years is big time.
She's already today number 2 all time in the history of her country, but she can go a lot further than that. She can be an Olympian. I think she will be, and I absolutely believe that she will be the best in Sweden's history.
The amount of grit.
Grit for days.
How much grit?
She has the grit.
Super gritty.
You'd be forgiven if you thought they were talking about the sand between their toes. But the grit being referred to is the mindset and dedication of the student athletes of the San Jose State beach volleyball team. After an off-season of uncertainty, the Spartans are now led by new coach Gary Hodge, who was hired to lead the team into their inaugural season in the Southland Conference.
I have been admiring this program for the 7 years I've been coaching college beach in the Bay. I've always thought that with the right pieces in place, this program could be consistently in the top 10.
Those pieces include veteran Jaida Ward and newcomer Izzy Sistik, who are both excited about this season's changes.
I think a highlight for sure has been having Gary and Alan come into our program. We kind of started off the season with a little curveball of the coaching switch. And everyone was a little bit nervous about what that would be like with the new coaches coming in. But I think it's just been so beneficial for our program.
This year is our first year being in a conference. We're in the Southland Conference. I'm so stoked. It was kind of sprung on us as a surprise to get a new staff, and then the announcement that we're going to be in a conference and having that time to be able to train for a championship has been thrilling.
There are so many programs out there that are floating around. To be attached to a conference, those consistent teams to compete against and scout and get comfortable against, and that direct path to the NCAA tournament is a huge benefit.
After a 4-0 start to the season, the Spartans traveled to Houston, Texas for their first taste of mid-season conference tournament play.
It was tough physically, going into that 85-degree heat, and the humidity was tough. But the way that our student athletes faced that adversity was something that I'll be proud of forever.
Taking that motivation and that drive from last year and continuing to push that motivation forward and set higher goals, especially now that we're in a conference, I think is super key.
It adds a little bit of extra fire. We have a goal to win conference, and so that just adds a little bit of extra spark.
The elements are just one of the many differences between the indoor and beach games. And with over 6 times the number of women's Division I indoor volleyball programs than beach programs, and few club beach volleyball options, many student athletes' first taste of the outdoor game is when they arrive on campus.
I got started in beach when I want to say I was going into my freshman year of high school. There weren't a lot of beach-only clubs. At the time, a lot of people would just go to indoor and then play beach in the summer to stay in shape. I kind of realized how much I appreciated beach a lot more than indoor, just having 2 people on the court, just your one partner that you can have that connection and chemistry with.
I was a little baby freshman who hadn't played beach before. It was a bit of a hard transition just to learn the sport.
It's never the same exact environment. It's never the same exact weather. The amount of grit that it takes to play this sport, love this sport, and be at it all day. I mean, you just grow a huge appreciation for your opponents that you're playing against when you're in your hardest moments.
Jaida Ward has become a leader both on and off the court, going 9-3 last season, while also taking the lead in welcoming newcomers to the program.
She does the work to connect and reaches out to players via text, and she was the first player that sent me a text and welcomed me to the program.
She really helped just be a rock for me, like coming into this program. And she's just always been someone that I can count on and go to for advice.
There is no player on this team that she is not working hard to make sure that they're okay, that they're connected, and that they have what they need.
Leadership like Jaida's has led to a tight-knit team that spends time together even when they aren't on the court.
Jaida and I, our thing is kind of grocery shopping. That sounds weird, but we enjoy our Costco runs for sure. We're both very adventurous with food.
As the program continues to grow, both players and coaches see a team with both the determination and grit needed to challenge the top schools in the nation.
I love our values. I love how much effort we put into the team culture. This program has been known for just being super gritty and being able to do more with less.
With the resources that we have and the coaching staff that we have and just the overall culture that we have, it's going to draw a lot of really good players here.
The way that these young women treat each other and interact with each other, even in difficult times, the respect they show each other, the support they show each other, is exactly what a championship caliber team needs. And I really feel like all the pieces are here. We just got to put them all together in the right way.
For Spartan second baseman Charles McAdoo, sports success runs in the family. Cousins James Michael McAdoo and Bob McAdoo each won 2 NBA championships, James with the Golden State Warriors and Bob with the LA Lakers. Charles grew up in Antioch and attended football powerhouse De La Salle, where he won state titles in both football and baseball.
It actually started off pretty slow because I wasn't that big. I was around like 5'2", 5'3", I think, as a freshman, and wasn't all that good at baseball. I was playing all over the place. I was even pitching, and then just like it was like a slow increase every year. And as I climbed up that ladder, it was just getting better and better.
Despite a successful high school baseball career, Charles did not have high hopes for playing at the next level. His experience in summer ball introduced him to SJSU head coach Brad Sanfilippo, who recruited McAdoo in 2021.
It was an inhale like, oh my God, a college coach called me.
Not only his play, but obviously his athleticism and his versatility really stood out.
I was telling myself, since I didn't have any interest from anybody until super late, I was like, I'm just going to take the first offer from the first school, from the first sport. He saw me play twice, and I guess he liked what he saw.
The quality of character and just the fact that he had been in winning programs and part of winning programs, and all of those things were the kind of kids we're trying to recruit.
When I first met Charles, it was right when he committed. I was already committed to San Jose, and out of nowhere, I get like a Instagram DM from someone, and I'm like, who is this? And he's like, yo, I just committed, like, give me a call, like, here's my number. And I was like, all right, sure, I'll shoot him a text. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting like a FaceTime, and I'm like, what the heck? And it's Charles, and he's just like, what's up, man? He invited me to go hit with him, and he's hitting balls like 30 feet over the fence, and I'm like hitting line shots up the middle, like that's the kind of player I am. And then he's hitting moon shots, and I'm like, okay, this guy is legit.
Here's the 1-1. McAdoo grounds the ball up the middle. It's a base hit. This will score 2 runs. Hampchuck in from third. Collette in from second. And the Spartans take a 3-1 lead.
2022 was a breakout year, not only for Spartan baseball, but also for sophomore second baseman McAdoo. Individual success helped fuel team success. McAdoo was named All-American, and the Spartans secured a 30-win season for the first time since 2011 and made it to their first ever Mountain West Championship game.
You may not think that you have an All-American on your hands, which, Charles made himself into that. Charles was always an All-American kid and was going to be that for us, and there was never going to be any downside to having Charles on our team.
Anyone who's been around Charles and sees the work that he's done and is around him every day, it's no surprise. It's just a testament to what he's been doing, and he's getting recognition for it, which is what he deserves. And so no, nobody was surprised except for, I think, him.
The day it happened, I was just laying in bed. One of my brother's old teammates sent me a message. He's like, "Oh, you're on the list." I'm like, "Oh, of what?" He's like, "Oh, you're an All-American." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Like it was like a big like pow in the face. Like, "Oh, that just happened."
That ball's hit high and deep to left center field, way back there, off the wall. Scoring easily is Lewis. Here's Collette. 2-run double for Charles McAdoo.
There's a lot of great players on this team, and we have a chance to do something special this year. With all these great players, we all work in harmony. We're going to do something great.
For him to be recognized on, a national level and kind of separate himself in terms of, that's high praise. And I think there's no one more deserving than Charles in terms of the player that he's made himself, but also what's ahead of him.
San Jose State baseball has big plans this season, and so does their star second baseman. Playing in the majors may have seemed like an unreachable goal when Charles started his college baseball journey, but after a stellar Spartan career, that goal is within reach.
I mean a lot. Taking that step and going a little bit further in my family that no one ever has, I think that's going to be a big step for me and my family.
His ceiling is whatever he sets his ceiling at. He's an elite athlete that is just going to continue to get better at the game of baseball with the more baseball that he plays. And I think that we will see what his ceiling is because he will achieve it. He will push himself to get to where that is. And he's already doing special things, and you allow him to go do this full time, I think you're going to see special things out of Charles McAdoo.